Welcome, YouTube viewers. This is Oppressed Warriors, and I am Achilles the Master, again here with Dread Mode, talking about some new changes in the game and some other things we want to talk about today, so we hope you enjoy this video. If you got anything you'd like to talk about, please comment, link, subscribe, all that mumbo-jumbo. So yeah, what's up, Dread? How you doing?
I'm just doing good. I'm just enjoying the Musa and Mewa? I don't know. Just Musa and the chick Musa.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to call it Blader and Plum. I think that's kind of the common term. What everybody's been calling it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not too hip to the Korean names.
I think everyone's on the same page on what they are. You know, you can call it whatever you are. It's just, or whatever those are between those three choices.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the class. It's very fluid. Just been kind of working on combos, trying to get the PvP down because it's a very different class to play. Actually, I feel like people who play sorceresses will have maybe the easiest time because the movements on the bladers closely resemble that of the sorceress with some different nuances. But yeah, we can jump right into what we wanted to talk about. There's been a couple issues with the blader that kind of have arisen, some of the bugs on some of these skills. Mainly, a lot of people noticed right away that Chase 2 was not working correctly. And you can't animation cancel with Chase 2 for some reason. And now this is not intended. This is a bug. It's a known bug. And a lot of people now are having to dip their pockets into the cash shop in order to fix these bugs, and I don't understand why people would support this. I mean, I don't know, it's like, I don't know how to describe this. Go ahead, D.
Well, I mean, it's just like, the way I see it, it's just like, it's obviously like an error made on the developer's side / you know, corporation side, and like who's having to pay for it? It's the consumer or the players, right? Because the way that this game works is that there's no in-game reset that's done for free per se. You have to pay with either money or pay with days. So you have 100 token, like you'll get 100 tokens each day, and like the minimum one that you will get is 400 loyalties, and that's only for one square, pretty much. So imagine if you got to reset the whole thing, it's quite a lot. So a lot of people are having the need to go into their pockets, spend $9 to reset the whole tree of their skill, because who's going to waste their loyalties when you could purchase weight increase
better
with your
things
loyalties
for loyalties, and you know, like the weight increase. I mean, that's definitely critical if you're going to be doing any sort of grinding or farming in the game. You want that extra carry weight, or even fishing and stuff like that. And there's it makes me shake my head. There's people supporting this. They're like, just pay $9 to reset your skills. Like, why should we be paying for the mistakes?
Yeah.
That's out of our control. That's something the developers made. Like, are they going to reimburse us the $9 once they fix the mistake? No, they're not going to do that. We shouldn't be supporting this atmosphere. Like, we should be pushing for skill resets in the game. And for those of you who haven't seen our previous video, we kind of went into detail with the cash shop and the skill resets further. So check the video. I have it link in the description below, and also on the video here for you guys to check out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, there was something else you were saying where, like, we'll talk about their profits, because I mean, like, right now you were saying that, like, the projected amount that they're gonna make is well throughout the whole year at the same rate, right? Or
yeah, so they had a conference in Korea, and it was posted on a website, and somebody went ahead and translated it for us so we can understand what they're saying. And if I find that link, I'll put it in the video description for you guys to check out. But basically, the conference was before the bladers and stuff came out, and they were talking about sort of the release schedule for bladers and a couple other things in the conference. They also talked about the cash shop and the profit margins that were being generated from the cash shop and the current cash shop trends for the rest of the year. And pretty much what they said was that the cash shop was incredibly successful, and they saw the trend for the cash shop to be continuing throughout the end of the year. They also said that they have exceeded their goals for the cash shop in terms of revenue generated, more or less is what they said in kind of corporate nomenclature.
Well, I mean, that's just, yeah, well, there you go. So to me, it says we're not changing our cash shop because the people are buying what we're doing, and they're not. And the thing is that people, like, in order to talk to these people, to developers, you got to talk with your pockets. You got to talk with your money, because that's what's going to make them motivate. That's what's going to make them do things. You know what I mean? Like, if no one is going to be buying the resets, they'll be like, oh, well, look, no one's buying the resets. Let's reevaluate that and see what's going on. But clearly people are buying onto it because they're feeling forced for the need to do that because they're doing PvP in the game.
Yeah, so this is the problem with you guys having to pay to fix your skills that shouldn't be broken, or that should be addressed immediately. Like, once again, this wouldn't be an issue if I could go to this vendor right here, talk to him with the Amity game, and buy a skill reset token or something, anything, so that I can get my skill resets in the game instead of having to spend my loyalties, essentially forcing me to log in every day, save up, which I could be saving up for better stuff, or paying $10 for resets, And it might not be $10, all right? The dollar amount's actually going to be different, but you have to at least buy $10 worth of pearls in order to get your skill resets.
So it is pretty much $10 that you're always putting in.
Yeah, it's going to be $10 regardless. Once you put those pearls in, you can't get them back.
Yeah. What are you going to get for that 100 pearls that you have left over? Like, let's be real here. You're going to buy a one box skill reset? Like, there's nothing you can get for 100, really, except if you want to get that RNG die, which is a totally another video to talk about.
Yeah, that's...
But, I mean, like, this is the stuff, is cash shop needs to change. The cash shop does need to change if you want to have longevity in the game. What I can see here is that this is just a cash grab, and this game's only going to last probably for another year the way it is, if the cash shop doesn't change. Because I'm feeling bullied to buy things. I want to buy things because I want to support the game, not because I feel bullied to play the game. I'm playing the game just to be competitive. I have to reset skills, so I don't get, like, destroyed in PvP. So, I don't know. There's all these factors, and I just think that they just definitely need to reformulate this, because there's too many idiot buyers, or not idiot buyers, just non-informed people, or people that are ignorantly buying. And that's cancer. That's cancer right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the people don't realize that the consumers ultimately have purchasing power, and we can talk with our money how we're going to spend our money on things, and if people are just going to be like, oh, suck it up and spend $10, I mean, that's kind of a toxic sort of attitude to have when something you shouldn't be paying for a broken feature, to fix a broken feature. That's not your fault. You should be up in arms demanding, hey, I want my skill fixed right away, or hey, I want you to provide me with a way to reset my skill. I didn't know it was broken,
Yeah, and I mean, another thing as well is, like, you'd think with all this influx of cash, they would be doing something to increase their customer support. I remember, like, they were, like, that same dude. Who's that rich dude? Not the rich dude, but he just sounded snobby. Not CM Jouska, but the other guy, Rick Van Beam.
Yeah.
I just did not like that guy. He just sounded like a prick. But anyways, like, the way he sounds, like, oh, we're made enough profits, so now we're gonna put investments into getting this and that. We're gonna get a customer service team going, blah blah blah. And all I see on like Reddit, on the forums, on their forums, is just people complaining because they have tickets that have been open now for a month. They haven't been responded. All these kind of things. I mean, these are red flags. I mean, like, when I was playing World of Warcraft, I had a subscription, but I also had the best damn customer service in that game. And I think that's really what you were paying for at the end of the day in World of Warcraft, was for the customer service, because it was spot on. It was responsive. It was there. You had your stuff. You had your tickets. You had all that stuff. So the way it looks like it to me is like, this is just Dom is just like a small business run by a couple guys, and they're just too greedy to outsource or actually hire other people to do a job. That's what I'm getting from the impression of this. It's almost like ArenaNet times 2.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, this is the problem with the game relationship that's going on is that Dom Games, or I think maybe this is a little bit of overview for people who don't know. Dom Games is the publisher for North America and a couple other territories. Pearl Abyss is the developers. So they're in constant contact with each other, or so they say.
They say they have good contact with each other and good communication. So that's what they claim. But
so essentially, the people like CM Jouska, what they do is they collect feedback and they submit regular feedback reports. I don't know if it's weekly or daily. I don't know what that relationship is, but either way, they submit feedback reports based on what they see in the game and via the community to Pearl Abyss. So if there's features that we want as a consumer, we really have to push for it, because it will become the top topic every week or every day. Every time they make contact with Pearl Abyss, be like, look, the Americans aren't happy about the die system, or the North Americans and Europeans are not happy with the skill resets. You know, if it's something that's going to be brought up over and over and over again, the people at Pearl Abyss are going to be like, well, shit, maybe we should add this feature for the North American servers because it's what they want.
And because they are a good, sustainable source of income.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
and that's what they need to understand. Not like, hey, they're just a source of income and they're stupid, and we're just going to torture them with our stupid ideas and ignore what they're saying. No, we don't want to have that. We don't want to have another arcade, you know?
Yeah, so it's, we got to make our voice heard so that it gets heard up the whole chain, right? If it's something that's going to be over and over again that, we're strongly opposed to, or we're strongly supportive of, they're going to be more considerate of trying to implement or change those features to cater to the audience, the people who are paying money to play the game, right? So,
and which I completely agree as well. Like, another thing is, like, we got to talk about like this, like these upgrades now, like the upgrades that are going to be coming out, because to be honest, like, I'm fine with plus 15s being the max upgrade that you got, and I think that's quite reasonable in terms of balance and such like that. But like, what's your point of view, and like what's up?
All right, well, here's my thing about.
Tell me what's up with things.
I'll tell you what's up if you give me a moment to speak my mind.
I'm so
I
pumped.
know. You're
so pumped right now, bro.
I can taste your adrenaline through the microphone.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. Anyways, all right, so. Point being, plus 15 is fine. We don't need plus 16, 17, 18, regardless of how many people say that it's okay. So I've heard of various arguments based on the plus 16 and up system. One of them being that the mobs in the game are already spec'd for people to have plus 16 and up gear. Alright, I have a counterpoint to make to that. Well, first off, let's talk about plus 15. Before we even get to the counterpoint behind the mobs being geared for 16 and up, the plus 15 is already a chore to get. Really, it is. I mean, they're consistently making it easier and easier to get because the RNG is so ridiculous to get plus 15 gear. It's not easy to get. Players who have been playing since the game launched are now just starting to get all the gear to plus 15.
To plus 12 or plus 13. Like
plus
just,
12, 13.
Just about.
The 4-day ahead players, they're hardcore Korean players, they already have the gear to plus 15. So we're already in combat.
People,
yeah, we're already in combat with those people who have plus 15 gear. And if you play PvP at all in this game, you notice how huge of a gear gap there is between plus 12 and plus 15. It's just astronomical.
That and level as well. So they are two factors that people seem to neglect a lot. Level and gear are the two biggest factors in PvP. I mean, just a couple days ago, I mean, we're not low level. We're definitely 52 and plus, right?
Yeah.
And there was this one Valkyrie we fought, and she had plus 15 everything. You know, I mean, we have plus 15 weapons, but we're plus 13, plus 14 armor. But she had plus 15 everything, and it literally took 5 of us, and we couldn't kill her.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
all of our gear wasn't as high level as hers, and she was a couple levels ahead of us in her character level, and we couldn't kill her 5 versus 1.
And now they want to come out with plus 20, so how would that, pan out? I mean, I get it, you're going to be, like rewarding the very few people that are going to be, sacrificing all their time playing this game, but this is an MMO. This is a massively multiple, multi-massively, yeah, whatever. I can't remember it right now, but I know what it means, MMO, okay? But the point being is that you're gonna need a lot of people to make the world feel alive, I mean, like, if you're just gonna be rewarding the select few, I mean, the masses are gonna end up leaving because they're gonna be like, well, I'm wasting my time in this game. I'm not having fun. I'm just getting plowed by these people that spend 500,000 hours in the game. I mean, I gotta go work. I can't do this. So the casual people are then end up losing out, and then after what do you have left? You just got like, what, 20 people in the game left? You got like a couple guilds of hardcore Zerg guilds, and then the game dies. I mean, this is just the same process. Why are you trying to make a huge gap between players?
Yeah.
That's gonna be tremendously time-consuming to even get to close the gap.
Let's even talk about that. I mean, this is supposed to be a PvP game where you pit player skill against player skill, and that doesn't happen when your quote-unquote skill level is based on what level your character is and how good your gear is. Well, then where's the skill
and random
aspect come in?
stats.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. If you guys don't know, we'll just cover this real quick, briefly. Every character you make, regardless of what class, has a chance of getting randomized stats. So you can have 2 warriors, level 55. They all have both plus 15 gear. Say the gear is exactly the same. Say they're both running Steel Terratus plus 15 down the line. So they both have 200 DP and 115 AP, whatever. But then you go look at their health, and even with the same gems, one warrior has 100 more health than the other one, and the other warrior has 50 more WP than the other one. What the fuck? I thought there were classes. I thought they were supposed to be the same. Why? Yeah. Why the stat difference?
I guess I can see that it's it does look a little bit appealing to have that unique aspect to it, but when you got classes that scale their damage based on their health,
or a certain stat, and that stat, you can be playing against people who have a base stat that's higher than yours, so they're already at a tactical advantage against you for no reason other than that they got a better role in their character.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know, that to me, that just, I don't know. For a PvP game,
okay, but
especially when they're
this
saying
is the point.
This is,
yeah, it's a PvP game. This is going back to the original point, or not the original, but one of the points we were talking about. You can't have a skill-based player versus player game if, like, the skill's not even involving the actual fighting aspect of you using your skills against another player. Like, the PvP aspect is more based on how good your gear is and how high level your character is. Your actual skill on that class is really almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It's non-existent if your character's just superbly outclassed by somebody else's gear and level.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good you are in your character. I mean, you're just outclassed by somebody else's gear.
Yeah.
And then it's not to say that, you can be a good player and you can win those fights and scenarios, but it just makes the battle astronomically more difficult.
Well,
so where's the skill versus skill? My point is that there's really no skill versus skill when it's gear and level versus gear and level.
And I feel like the combat is completely wasted because of that. Because the fluidity, because of how nice and fast-paced the combat is and how refreshing it is. I feel that's all lost because you're removing the skill aspect of the game and you're basing it.
You're putting gear and level first.
Yeah, on level and what's it called? And gear, So I don't know. Like, it's still fun to play the game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, there's skillful battles, but that's only when and everything is regulated.
Yeah, like when you know that your AP and DP is similar to your opponent's, or very close, and your level is the same.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought that those fights were the most rewarding fights to watch. I mean, like, I always think that, hey, like, especially these people that go in on YouTube and post these videos of their rangers and sorceresses, and they're like, look, I just took out 5 guys. It's like, yeah, you took out 5 guys that are low level.
That are level
and
45.
have low gear, And it's just what it is, I mean, like, I had fun doing that in World of Warcraft as well, but it was a little bit different, I mean, like, I could at least say, okay, well, that guy's low level, I'd understand that he's low level. Whereas in this game, you can't tell a level difference. You can only tell by the color of people's names. If they're green, they're below level 45, and if they're blue, that means they're above level 45, and that's it. That's all you know. You don't know anything else other than that about a person, which is kind of adds an interesting aspect to it, but also in retrospect, it's also, you know, it fills people up with false hope. You know, it's like, oh, I'm really good. Yeah, I just killed that guy. You never know if that guy's a fresh 50.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, like, you can't really ever gauge your strength ever in world PvP ever. And then like there's a whole aspect now of like if you go to Crimson Battlefield, like all I hear from from the people in our guild are just like how, you know,
they're just getting
like how ridiculous
by
it scales.
some guy who has, you know, just amazing gear in the red battlefield, and then he has 160 points and is just destroying, face rolling everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, who was it? The other guy in our guild was talking about how he was like, you drop out of the pit to your death, you know, because the players are just so much better geared than. And
already it's hard enough to catch up to them.
Yeah,
it's hard enough to do that, you know. And then now they want to make it like desperately harder. Impossible.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Look,
I mean, like, I understand you want to reward people for playing your game, but like that's going way too far. It's like, and like this all boils down to like, you know, it being a free-to-play game format in other countries, you know. So,
look, here's my thing about the plus 16 and up. If it's gonna be implemented, just make it attainable. Let's not make this fucking RNG insano game, you know, where your items have a chance to break and you're never going to be able to, you know, get it up to plus 17 unless you spend 500 hours a week playing. And nobody, I don't want that.
No one wants that.
Nobody wants
if you
that.
want
Nobody
that, you know, go play fucking Rust. Go play Rust.
Go play
okay?
Arcade. Like, if you
go
want that hardcore RNG, then let's not bring that to this game and ruin this game. That's go play another
let's leave
game.
it at Arcade.
Leave it at Arcade. I mean, there's a reason why Arcade died, right? It's because of that and the cash shop. I mean, that's two red flags that another game did. Let's not repeat the same historical misfortunes onto this game. So
I mean, yeah, this game is beautiful. You know, I mean, I love every aspect of it. I love how open it is, everything.
If you're going to add the plus 16 and up system, make it obtainable. Allow us to force Chan up to, say, plus 17 so we can get some of that gear, and then make plus 18, 19, 20 impossible like it is on the Korean version.
And in addition to that, also, I think what they need to do is change the scaling so that you get the increased or maximum scaling at the lower level of the upgrade. And the higher you go, you get less scale of your AP or DP, whatever you're upgrading.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. So what you're suggesting, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that I get more armor from upgrading from level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So say from level 1 to 2, I'll get an additional 5 armor. From level, you know, from 5 to 6, I might get an additional 3 armor, and then from level 14 to 15, I might get an additional 1 or 2 armor.
Yeah.
So it lowers the higher the level you get. So you get the maximum amount of your armor gain at a lower level to kind of close that gap between the elite players and you. So you could be able to compete with somebody who has plus 15 everything and your gear's plus 13 because that gap is no longer as large. It's
astronomical, yeah.
So
astronomical, yeah.
Astronomical, yeah.
Astronomical. Sorry, guys. I speak 3 languages, okay? Fuck.
GG. He speaks Greek, Latin, and Russian. I don't know.
Let's calm down here, bro. It's just French, English, and Spanish. That's all. But yeah. But no, I completely agree, and that's what I think would make things a little bit more reasonable. You know, I mean, like, there's like, to me, there's 3 things that need to change.
I don't know. I think that's amazing. Let's just recap on that for a second. Increasing the amount you get at a lower level, and slowly devolving that as you level up, so you get a more bonus at a lower level than you would at the highest level. I think that makes a lot of sense because you close that gear gap.
And you still reward people for trying to go there, but it's not detrimental, you know. It's not going to give you the cutting edge in battle. Okay?
Yeah, it's not like a plus 14 versus plus 15. You know, all the bets are going to be on the plus 15, obviously, because they have so much more DP and AP.
Yeah, and that's what I think would be the most reasonable thing to do without, you know, screwing everyone over. Because then you're rewarding the no-lifers, then you're rewarding the people that are casual, and then you're rewarding the newcomers. Because people need to understand as well is that newcomers is what also gives companies profit, you know, because they want to keep people coming back, and they also want to keep their main, consumer base
us
playing.
to tell our friends, man, you got to get this game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get this game, and then they're going to be like, oh, why does your character look badass? Oh, we'll check out that
why
costume.
would I recommend this game with what it has right now? I won't recommend this game. I say, yeah, it's a fun game to play, but it's ridiculous. Right now, this game is gray shaded area. It's like borderline red flags because of the cash shop, because of how they're not approaching things appropriately with their community, and that's what makes these MMOs is the community. Developers make good games, but what makes the game great? It's community, So,
absolutely.
I mean, there has to be a thing, and you can also tell by the community what's going to be the future of the game. I mean, if people actually care and see, what I care about here is sustainability. And this is what I don't see in the game. And if you're going to just be buying and buying and buying and buying, you're not going to be investing in a game that's sustainable in the future. This game won't be able to sustain itself in the future because it got its maximum amount of profits now, and then in order for it to reach its maturing age or to even go further down, they're going to have to find extraneous ways of trying to make that profit stay the same. So what are they going to do? They're going to do exactly what happened in Arcade. You're going to have these stupid chests come out that you buy that give you stupid gears that you don't, just that kind of stupid shit, Yeah. It's just, it shows you desperation. And if we as a community stand up now and say, listen, no, this is not going to fly, we don't want that, then we can make the game live longer. We can change the way things are. And this is what people don't understand. United, we conquer, divide, you fall. It's been like that for years, and people don't understand, It's like
people just don't understand the consumer's buying power, you know? And if you support bad habits, then the developers are going to continue to fund those bad habits. The pay-to-win items. Arcade people were buying the pay-to-win items. So what did they do? Continue to release more pay-to-win items, or continue to release those chests with the OP stuff in them because people were buying them.
It's like you reward for what you do, and that's what they're doing. They're getting rewarded by consumers saying, "Here's my money. I'm okay with what you're doing.
I'm okay with this shady business model that you're, putting up."
Yeah, and I just think that people need to start thinking smart with their money, because if this keeps going on, it's the same thing that happened with all these big game companies. If you look at EA Sports or EA or any of these big companies, that make games, their games are shit now. I find a lot of indie games are better because of the feeling put into it. It doesn't feel like it's mass produced. It doesn't feel
They're not
like
just trying to make the game is not solely produced to make a 1,000% profit. People, they built the games because they had a good idea and they rolled with it,
Yeah,
no
they listen
more
to the
than
community feedback, there's listening, there's feedback going. But these big companies, they don't care. They just want to say, what's the biggest way of getting this revenue? What's the biggest way of making this turnover? I don't care what people want. I'm going to sell them crap. I don't know if you've seen, the amount of money that's gone into games now has, gone tremendous, is quadrupled tenfold,
Mm-hmm.
And you see the quality of the game, it's not there, I mean, I remember buying what's it called,
what's that one game, the Call of Duty? Talk about a game that's been re-released 50 times with the same graphics engine and reworked mechanics, slightly reworked,
but then
Call
again,
of Duty, they added cab packages, it's but the game, the engine was the same. The gameplay was the same. The weapons were the same. I mean, what?
But when you look at the demographic of people that buy that, okay, you just gotta look at it. When COD first came out, it was a good game. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it and it was fun. But then after that, it got sour, it got boring. But then again, the people buying these games, they either only have a console, that's what I think, and they generally don't have, they don't have an understanding of gameplay, because that game style, COD, is arcade style. I used to go to arcades and I used to go and play that kind of style. It reminds me of Time Crisis,
Yeah,
Time Crisis was cooler because you had a gun,
Yeah.
But, and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it was fun, but it's just, what they did there is just they found something and then they just rehashing it and selling it. They're replacing it, rebranding it. Same thing, like you said, it's the same like program or the same same program that they're using or same engine.
It
like
was
you said,
copy and
that
pasted. They literally took an idea that worked and literally copied the entire game and then tweaked a few graphics. That's all they did, and they sold. I mean, they're making so much money off of the people buying the same game over and over again because I don't know, people just don't look at it for.
Well, I don't know. A lot of the girls that I know play COD. I don't know why they like COD more than Battlefield. I don't know, but maybe because it's easier. You know, a lot of people like ease, and that's another thing that you gotta take into consideration. Another thing is that I feel like the younger generation as well just doesn't know what quality is. You know, compared to before, because I remember like the biggest comparison was for me was Battlefield and COD. You know, same kind of thing, but you got a game that's based on arcade style shooting, and then you got another game that's based on realistic style shooting, right?
Yeah.
They're the same genre, FPS, but they're two different approaches of going through it. You know, like I noticed the difference going between Battlefield, the first Battlefield, Bad Company, to Battlefield 3. You know, whereas I didn't notice any difference going from COD to Black Ops. I mean, Black Ops. You know.
Yeah, Black Ops or Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare or whatever the fucking game.
It's all the same thing, and the thing is that people are willing to buy that, and that's what sucks. You know, that really is what sucks, is that people want to buy crap. It's the same reason. Why is it that Justin Bieber is so popular? Because they targeted young girls that are only working on their hormones. You know, that's the reason why they made a shit ton of money. Is because of the target audience. If you're going to target kids, you're going to target people that don't know any better, you know? And then another addition to that, if you're going to target rich suburban families, you know? Obviously, they're just not going to care. They're like, whatever, I have money to spend, whatever, I've got money to burn, I'm just going to burn, you know? Just buy that. And that's what it is, you know? And it's the same thing with the girl Black Friday. Not Black Friday, what's that girl? Rebecca Black, and she sang Friday.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like, she's just a rich girl with a dad that paid for that and just did that. You know, it's just rich people wasting money trying to do whatever they want to do with it. You know, and that's what's causing this whole tumbling effect. You know, is that it's okay to spend money on these things even if it's not worth it. And that's not the stigma needs to just go, because that kind of thinking is what's going to kill a lot of things. And it's going to be okay eventually to just be like, okay, it's okay to pay to win. It's okay to pay extra in a game
like this
to get an item plus 5. Eventually it's going to be like that.
Make this an expectation. This sort of kind of thought where, you know, and especially in a video game, like whatever happened to like buying a cartridge and just playing the shit out of the game because it was a lot of fun. Not like, could you imagine if you had an N64 and you were playing Star Fox? Every time you had to play, you had to put 25 cents in it? Or every time you die, you had to pay $1 or send Nintendo $1 to get a new cartridge? Like,
why do you think arcades stopped working? Like, people don't understand. Because consoles moved to your home, you know, and they were free at that time, you know, to buy an entire game. It's the same thing as, like, what happened to demos? You know?
Yeah.
No one has demos anymore. Well, there's very little demos. It's all about, hey, pay this entry fee to play my game that I haven't finished. You know, alpha funding. Like, that's another thing that I find hilarious.
Crowdsourcing and stuff like. We could talk about some of those games, like what maybe Space Engineers.
Well, like
Ark,
there's some games, you know,
Survival Evolved.
There's very few companies that I think benefit from that, but in a whole, I think it's silly. You know, very silly. I mean,
well,
like,
it's essentially we've created this demon where people pay for games that are unfinished, and it's even come to a point where people are paying for games that have DLC built into the game, and they make you pay additional $15 later for DLC that's already on the disc. The stuff is already there, and then they're making you pay twice.
Storage.
I mean, it's a corporation's dream. They're making people pay twice for the game that they already own.
Yeah, and that's
bullshit.
And people are okay with that, and that's what's crazy. You know, like I stopped with console gaming because of this nonsense. Because I saw a pattern happening. I don't support EA. I don't support those things. I don't buy Madden. I don't buy those games anymore because it's the same crap. You played one game of those sports games, you played them all, literally. You know, like the best times I've ever had playing sports game was on the Super Nintendo. FIFA like 98 or FIFA 96 or some crap like that. But it was so fun, you know?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that was my game.
Yeah,
Back
like
on Sega
like
Genesis.
that, and this is the thing, is that the golden age of gaming is dead. Completely dead because of greed, because corporations have seen how much money can be profited from gaming. And that's what you can see. You know, I mean,
see, but this is this is like the catch-22 that I'm in. It's like I want, like, if you're gonna start a business and you're gonna start producing games, you need to make money in order to continue paying your workers and stuff like that. So I don't have a problem with profits. It's the greed aspect. No, it's the fact when you turn from making a good quality product, like say a high-end car or something, to just making something that you know that people are going to buy. It's just going to turn a profit, but is absolute garbage. And that's kind of like, the examples of that. Activision Gaming, EA Games has a lot of those type of just cash cow games that they release. Ubisoft is kind of going down that realm. They're just releasing these garbage games here and there just to try to make some money. Instead of trying to say, hey, we had a vision for this and we wanted to make it as good as we can for the players, and we want to listen to what you have to say and stuff, and just create a genuinely good product. Instead it's just, let's create something that we know people are going to buy because they're just going to waste money on it and it's just going to be crap. That's Call of Duty, say, versus something like Dragon Age or The Witcher.
I felt like Dragon Age 1 was good. I heard like Dragon Age 2 was crap.
Yeah.
And Dragon Age 3, I played. It was all right. It wasn't the greatest.
So I
wouldn't pay that much money for it.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to. I mean, we've talked about a lot of games that are not Black Desert. I mean, the important of this video though is sort of showing the people here in the Black Desert community that you do have power over what transpires in the game based on what you buy. And that's an important notion, and the reason why we're talking about this is because we feel like a lot of people don't understand sort of this relationship that you guys have with the game itself and what sort of power you guys have, and misconceptions and thought processes. And that's why we are talking about it, because people don't seem to talk about this in sort of a constructive manner, like how to reform ways of thinking that's going to benefit everybody at the end of the day. Not just benefit the no-lifers, not just benefit the casuals, not just benefit the developers, but benefit everybody in some sort of positive manner. At the end of the day, we want Pearl Abyss and we want Down Games to be successful companies, so that the Black Desert game will be a successful game for its consumers and our players. That's why we're having this discussion. A lot of people have these misconceptions, and that's why we want to talk about them here in a productive manner.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Damn right. Now for the rest of the video, I'm the Dark Sylvester the law, you know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys got what was saying in the video, yeah?
Oh my god. Thanks, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, no problem,
Alright, bye.
No, but seriously, is there anything else you want to discuss? We'll save it for another video.
Well, I mean, that's good for now. I mean, we're gonna have to talk about how, we did put things in, how long does feedback take? How long is it gonna take for them to feedback to the community? Because all I got for my response on the thread was, okay, thanks for the feedback. I've added it to the feedback. That's it. No other word about it, like nothing about that. There needs to definitely be a lot more interaction. They need to definitely be hiring people. I can agree with that. They should have some sort of consumer relations that are talking about topics that are of concern to the community, instead of, because we don't know what happened with that topic after it says submitted to feedback report. Like, was it considered? Did Pearl Abyss give any sort of response? Like, what's going on? Like, and like,
is this case
why is it not being addressed? Like, what's up?
Because then that leaves us saying, oh, well, they're talking about it, but I guess they're not talking about it anymore. It's just kind of like,
it's like
they acknowledge us and forgetting about us. It's sort of like, sort of just giving us that sort of acknowledgement that they heard us, and then just kind of not moving at all with the information. You know, it's just like, yeah, we wrote it down. All right, I'll talk to you later. You know.
So that's the thing, you know. I mean, hopefully something can be done, because I mean, at the end of the day, we all play this game, you know. I mean, like, I want to have fun playing the game. I want to see the game succeed. I want to see the game live for a while, you know. I don't want to live another Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it shouldn't be called Guild Wars 2. It should be called Player vs. Environment Wars 2. That's what it should fucking be called, because there's no fucking Guild Wars in that game.
Yeah.
This game should be called Black Guild Wars 2. Like, I don't understand why it's not. Like, you do so much Guild Wars in this game, and it's called fucking Black Desert.
Yeah, there was virtually no warring of the guilds in Guild Wars.
Yeah, that was the shittiest game I was just uber disappointment. Everything that should have came out when the game released came out, like, in the DLC expansion, same price. Everyone that paid the fucking first game gets screwed over because now the game is free at the first version. I was so pissed when I heard that. I was like, for real, the first iteration of the game's free? Why don't you just give me the expansion for free for playing your game for so long? Yeah. Douchebags.
No, it's true.
It's true. I mean, this is the thing, is like, you can create a game, but what keeps your game alive? It's people. It's your consumers. It's your player base. You know? You can put everything there, but who's going to put it to use? You know? I don't know. I just think that people need to get off that, you know, entitlement of feeling, oh, you know, I feel like the developers did enough so they can just get money. And then, like, people that switch the entitlement around and say, oh, well, you're just an entitled consumer. Well, damn fucking right I am. It's my money. Why should I give my money to someone if they don't fucking deserve it?
All right, that's like, okay, we need to put this in sort of layman, basic, everyday terms. If you go to a restaurant and that restaurant serves you shitty food and you get food poisoning because their food was so shitty, are you going to go back and buy that dish again? No, you're going to take your money somewhere else to a better restaurant that has better dishes and better food that doesn't make you sick. I mean,
I hope you wouldn't do that. I hope first what you'd do would you'd call the fucking food place and be like, listen, this fucking restaurant got me fucking food poisoning.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got the audience that was like, I'm going to sue you. But
yeah, no,
I know any person with common sense is going to be like, this food has harmed me, or this food did not give me that expectation which I paid for. Therefore, I'm not going to pay for it anymore. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. But
this is the scary part, man. Is like, common sense isn't so common anymore, you know? And that's something that I've fucking realized, is that nowadays, because of all these, like, of people just getting upset about things and not understanding the truth for what it is, common sense is gone. You know, I mean, like, people would be like, well, I guess I paid for this poisonous food, I might as well eat it. That's what people would do. I'm not even lying, man. People would just justify that and be like, well, you know what, maybe I'll come back next time and I won't get poisoned.
And maybe there'll be a different chef next time, or, you know.
Yeah, like, no. Like, this is exactly what it is. It's like the same people that do that are the people that reward people that don't do their job properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That negligence is not what's needed. You know what I mean? Like, people need to start being smart. You start thinking with your money, you know? Like, there are repercussions. If people continue the way it is, it's just going to be like, what's so different about, like, I'll bring the ghillie suit back in as an example. I mean, like, you're paying for a removing of your name, right? People are okay with that, you know? People that don't have a PvP mindset or strategic mind can't understand or can't fathom the advantage that you get, you know? But I'll put it into, like, really PvE terms for you people, right? It's just like purchasing an item that makes NPCs not hit you, or make NPCs ignore you, you know? It's the same kind of concept. I mean, like, you're just gonna go around and farm and grind the shit out of NPCs, and then they're not gonna be hitting you back, or they won't notice you, but then you're actually getting an advantage because you're getting way more NPCs, you're not getting aggro, you're not getting hit, you know? There's all these ways you could relate it into that, you know?
Yeah.
That might not have been the best example, but, you know, it's still pretty good, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gets the point across so that you're paying for a feature that you can only get on the cash shop that gives you a clear advantage in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, it's just like, why don't we just add like a fucking costume that just every time you fish, you get yellow fish, you know? Like, fuck. Like, that's what's gonna end up being. Like, if you're okay with these subtle bonuses that don't need to be there,
it's gonna continue to
it's gonna get, like, they're gonna keep
it's
pushing.
Gonna keep getting worse. They're gonna keep adding more bonuses, or the bonuses are gonna be stronger.
How far can we get? Yeah. How far can we go without making this open bracket, not pay to win, closed brackets? You know, while still having the element of it being borderline pay to win. You know, and that's what their statement is with the ghillie suit. And everyone has made the statement saying, "Yeah, you know what? You're right, Dom. I'm a buy this. I do need it for PvP." If you look at all the streams of people that are doing PvP, or any streamer right now, they all are wearing a ghillie suit. You know, it's just like, why? Why are you guys wearing a ghillie suit? Oh, so people don't hunt me down. Well, why? Is that not giving you an advantage so that people don't hunt you down? What about other people then? You know, that can't get that item.
Yeah, I watched a video on YouTube talking about the ghillie suit, and the guy in the video had a ghillie suit, and he's talking about the ghillie suit and stuff. He goes, no, I don't really have a problem with the ghillie suit itself, but the fact that this effect cannot be, attained in the game is a topic of heated debate. Now, I can kill people with the ghillie suit, with the yada yada yada, whatever, but at the same time, I don't want to wear the ghillie suit, but I feel compelled to wear it because in PvP, it's just obvious, much harder to hit somebody who you can't track, you can't see their name. So
people
even though I hate how
don't understand that concept, though. Yeah. They think, oh well, just because you just gotta look better, and that's not the fucking case here.
And the guy, I mean, he's complaining about that he can't make his character look cool because he's forced to wear a ghillie suit in order to maintain a tactical advantage in PvP. I mean, he made it clear that even though he's okay with the feature, it still adds an advantage that he's compelled to use because it just adds an advantage. It just adds that the advantage is so compelling. If you have it, you have to use it regardless because it's giving you an advantage.
Actually, you know what? This makes me feel like I'll give you the perfect example. It's like a fighting game, okay? Let's just take Street Fighter versus Capcom 3 because everyone should know that one, right?
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Or even if they don't, Street Fighter 2.
Please
okay?
Google it.
Let's just say you have Ryu and Ken fighting each other, okay? Now Ken has the ghillie suit, and now what the ghillie suit's going to do for him is that he's going to have his handicap set to +5. Right? Whereas the other person now who doesn't have the ghillie suit is going to have his handicap set to +1. Do you understand the correlation of that? Is that a little bit... I think that's a little bit more black and white for people that don't understand the correlation. You're just giving yourself a handicap, whereas the other person doesn't have a handicap.
Yeah.
And the fact is that the only way to attain that handicap is you to pay for it. That's almost like saying... Okay, I have a +1. I'm going to buy a +1 on my weapon, and you can't get that +1 without buying it.
Yep.
That's exactly what it says. And
or
people
the weapon in the cash shop's going to
justify that.
The best damage in the game.
You people are idiots. I'm saying it straight up. Sorry if it offends you, but it's real talk, and the truth does hurt, and people need to hear that. There are idiot people out there that are going to be spreading lies and that kind of nonsense. Like, I'm being real with people and I'm explaining as hard as I can here. I mean, I could go a little bit harder, but I mean...
Well, I mean, you're really hitting the point there. It's like, you're not logically thinking about the negative benefits that your support for these items bring. If you're just looking at it from a face value of this is going to benefit me, then you're not looking at it at the whole picture. You're not looking at it in in-depth analysis. And that's what we want to talk about, is this stuff does affect what happens in the game. It affects every sort of aspect in the game is controlled by what you buy. And your support for this stuff. If you're supporting these toxic items, the game's only going to continue to get more toxic, and then you're going to be like... Then you're going to be the one complaining, yeah, they added the Kazakhstan weapons in the cash shop, now I can just buy them, and that killed the game. Well, you were the one initially supporting things like the ghillie suit. If you were supporting those items in the beginning, it's no wonder why they continued to release them.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand, is that if you let something happen, they're going to go and push to the extent that they can. You know? It's just the way it is, and people need to come to the term and the realization that, hey, not all dev community, not all dev teams or publicists are good guys. They're there for money. What they see you as is a source of income, okay? And people need to think like they are the source of income. So
they need to look at it from their perspective. How are we, the consumers, being viewed? Are we being viewed as a community of people who support the game or enjoy the game, or are we just being viewed as potential cash flow? How can we maximize this, you know?
And that's what we need to see. I mean, like, what is it that Dom thinks? I mean, like, the impression that I'm getting from Dom is that it's just a cash grab. Like, they really don't care. Like, you have CM Jouska say or claims that he does things, but I mean, it really doesn't show. I mean, I haven't seen any feedback.
I don't want to say that everybody in Down's bad, because you do have people like CM Jouska, who he's a regular player of the game. He sees and feels the struggles, but just because he sees and feels the struggles doesn't mean that his bosses or his CEOs are viewing it the same way as he
no,
does. So I don't want to say everybody's bad.
I can't judge for that, and I do actually. I apologize if you're here, Jouska. If you hear that, I do apologize if I said that you're a bad person, or if anyone at Down is a bad person. But
we need to we need to view things from all perspectives, and that's what people get lost in. They only see it from their right or wrong perspective, and they're unwilling to accept another viewpoint or even entertain another viewpoint because it's different from what they believe in. And what they believe in is not always right. And I'm just going to say it right now. Some of your beliefs are just flat out wrong. You know, and you gotta be willing to open your mind up to other possibilities so that you can understand the whole truth.
And that's the thing. In order to solve a problem, you have to look at it as an objective mind.
Yeah.
You know, take criticism and move forward, and that's when you can actually create something beautiful. I mean, I don't understand why is it that, you know, consumers always have to go at war with the fucking developers, and the developers always have to go to war with the publishers, and that's all because of greed. Consumers just want to play and enjoy the game, for fucking God's sake, man. And I mean, if your game is good, we will support it. So why don't you fucking find a proper way of maintaining that sustainability, you know?
Without
I'm
making
sorry,
it
I didn't
cash
mean to
grab.
swear there, but, you know, sorry. PG-13.
PG-13. I'll post that in the video. No, just playing. Alright, long story short, don't be an idiot and don't support stupid tactics. This is Oppressed Warriors, and I'm Achilles the Master here with Dread Mode. It was fun. Check out our videos. More definitely to come. We have a lot of stuff we'd like to discuss. I mean, we can go on for hours talking about a couple of these topics.
We can talk about oppression for days.
Yes, we could. The oppression is real. So if there's anything you want us to talk about in Black Desert or anything else in general, even if it's concepts, feel free to subscribe and post a comment below the video, what you'd like to hear about, and we'll take it into consideration and check some things out and go from there. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Achilles the Master of Oppressed Warriors again, and here with my buddy Dread Mode, and we'll talk to you guys in the future.
Bye, guys.